Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, my name's Michael.
Clear.
And welcome back to a mighty episode of Friendship.
Right.
You ever
put friendship supreme silver right there.
I'll try. With the podcast that Dares to Ask, you ever wondered what the voice of Rita is doing? Rita Repulsive.
The best time of her life. That's the best case scenario that you just
get to play that character. She's played a lot, actually. She is a voice.
They like her voice.
Yeah, she voice acts a lot. But she just came out with a new movie. She just starred in a new movie.
Oh yeah, what's that movie?
Yeah, that movie's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
Once and always. Yes.
Once and always.
Yes.
The most fascinating fact I found out about this movie was that the voice of Alpha and Rita were both done by the original actor and actress.
Nice. Good for them.
So I appreciate Alpha 9 existing. I don't know how 5, 6, and 7 died, but I'd love to know.
A story for another time.
That's fair. I didn't know Zordon died, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
A long time ago.
He died in the movie. No, he didn't die in the movie. They just got him out of the crystal.
No, he was like a gross, crinkly man.
Yeah, he was the raisin man.
And then they had to put booze on him to cure him. I don't remember.
That movie was sketchy for sure, but as children we loved it.
But this one's different.
We're talking about this movie, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Always Once. Really depends on which Ranger you're talking about, because sometimes it's always and sometimes it was once.
I watched this movie, and I got to the end of this movie, and I thought to myself, who are we making this movie for?
Fantastic question. I will start this with the caveat that it's debatable if it's a movie or not. It's 55 minutes.
Episode?
It's 55 minutes. It's a Netflix episode. But okay. they showed it as like a movie. Like this is because it's a one off. Like this is a movie. But I just wanted to point out that like it was 55.
I'm sure if it did well, they would jump right back on that train.
To answer Clee's question, my genuine feeling for this, because Clee's question was why who is this for? It was for David Yost. That's the only reason we did this. Because David Yost got bullied. He's the one that played Billy Cranston, which fucking Rita Repulsa yelled his last name 1,000,000 times, and I couldn't figure out why. Like it was so important that we yelled Cranston instead of Billy. But
I think it's weird that she knew who they were.
Agreed.
Like you bothered to learn their names.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it definitely was a movie specifically for David Yost.
I think. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I think it was a movie for Trent.
Fair.
And if that's the case, sure, had a great time. But like, I don't know. I watched it, and there was a part where they called the second Yellow and Black Ranger, who are Rangers somewhere else now, and they talked a whole bunch of gibberish. And I looked at Jennifer and I said, "That's for Power Ranger nerds. I don't know what they're talking about." I was like, I feel really separated from the scene right now because
was that the people on the spaceship?
Yes,
one with that was SPR Space Power Rangers. What I assumed.
Yeah, Space Force probably maybe. I don't know.
It said SPR on it. I just.
Yeah, but that was the Black and the Yellow Ranger, the old new ones.
The only experience I have in the space age of Power Rangers was when I watched Next Mutation, and they all kind of got together. But that was the group that had a little kid, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's a grown man now.
That's fair. Yeah, here's the thing, right? So, like, Power Rangers has spanned over the time of the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And much like Star Wars, the Power Rangers of this time right now is for the kids of this time.
Right. Like the Power Ranger episodes they're making to like last week.
Yes.
Right, or for the kids of now.
100%, right. And so it's weird to me to take the Power Rangers of old, our time, and shoehorn them into a writing style that is identical to this kids genre.
It felt very much like watching them be Power Rangers when they were kids,
but just
which
old and
is not a compliment.
No,
because I don't know. I tried once to go back and watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I was like, "This is peak like this time," which is fine for that time, but like they were doing that in this.
Yeah, funny enough, yeah, Katie has actually like been trying to get Jameson to watch the original because I showed her the trailer for this a while back, and she was like, "Well, I miss." She got all upset that it was Catherine Sutherland. I was trying to explain that it's probably money and whatnot, but she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure." Jameson's not entertained at all.
It's not great for them. Remember when we watched Beetleborgs? We both had fond memories of Beetleborgs, and guess what? Not good anymore. But
they're not so big or bad.
Austin St. John got in trouble for like COVID fraud.
He's also kind of just weird.
Right.
He's really like abrasive with everybody.
Yeah, Trong and David Frank, obviously you're no longer with us. And my understanding is that Amy Jo just wanted more money.
I get it.
Yeah, she's by far out of the core set, including Jason David Frank, by far has the better like IMDb page.
Yeah, she did things.
Yeah, she was in like other shows. Yeah.
So
Jason David Frank was a Power Ranger 15 times. I mean, I respect him and I love it, and I root for him every time I saw him. Yeah, but and you know what? I used to say this all the time. If they wanted to pay me to be a Power Ranger, I'd go do this shit tomorrow. Because that shit is paying my bills for life.
For life, yeah, no, 100%.
And I'm getting called for this movie.
He was big about the fans and stuff. The fan base is all kinds of fun, or can be, and can be miserable too. No, like I think that's actually Cleve has the question of the night, and it really is the one that I think I kept playing through my head, and I'm still playing through my head right now, which is who was this for? And what I would say above everything else is it Walter Emmanuel Jones?
Yes. They just put Walter Jones in here, but yeah. Walter Emmanuel.
I feel like, didn't he used to be billed as Walter Emmanuel, or did he always just Walter Jones? Okay. Anyway.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I would say that
Big Dub, we'll call him.
Him and Catherine Sutherland had some sort of acting chops. Like, they improved since they were children. David Yost has not, and Stephen Cardenas has not.
I will say Stephen Cardenas, I feel, is just fine for acting in Power Rangers.
Barely. Like, yeah, maybe just the Power Ranger shows.
Well, and the reason I say that, right, but the reason I say that is because David, it almost hurt listening to him read his lines. It was like he didn't know what to do with his hands half the time. And I'm like, I don't know his rare, but I'm like, when was the last time you read a sentence? And like out loud because
He
it was just stiff and no emotion at all ever.
he led the Morphin time twice,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurt. It was like if Stan Lee had tried to get down in the Spider-Man position to show people, and he would have like said Excelsior down there. Like that was the same vibe I got as David Yost. Like David Yost is not much older than us. Like 10, 15 years. But like
He was born in 1969.
was he born in 69?
That's what his IMDb says.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to break this to you, but even on the show, he looked like the older guy.
Yeah, that's fair. I always thought Jason David Frank looked the oldest out of all of them.
He was like the little baby face to me.
He had a
Anyway.
baby face, but he was also like, anyway, he was the high school that wasn't a middle school or like the college student in high school. But
Yeah, he was 18 by the time we were born, big dog.
Jesus fucking Christ, never mind. It didn't. There was no part of this movie that like felt good. Trini's daughter, or the actress that played Trini's daughter, was like probably trying harder than everybody else. Maybe she's
Well,
like,
she
I
used
have a
to, right?
future. But like, I mean, everybody phoned it. Everybody phoned it in. We had stunt people into those costumes because not one of those fucking people is doing those stunts.
Hey man, there was some out of the costume stunts. I even told Jennifer, I was like, look at fucking Steven and Walter fucking tearing up the scene.
What's funny to me is he does what he called hip hop keto,
Oh god.
and that is isn't it a small reference to the Power Rangers movie? Like, didn't the Power Rangers show like randomly say, "Oh yeah, he's good because he's hip hop"? Like, he's good at.
I don't know. I felt like that was something that they put on him once upon a time because
Yes,
you know
that was my
that
point.
time.
Yeah, no, that's my
And
point. And so
I thought maybe now we didn't have to do that.
we
But you know
didn't.
what? Like he still got great moves.
I
I didn't
guess.
like it. I hated it very
No,
much.
that's what
I hated it very much.
that was my point. I'm pretty sure there was an episode like early on that was like he's good at kung fu because or martial arts because he likes hip hop music, and then like that just kind of carried over. And like yeah, no, that's like when he said hip hop keto time, and I'm like, you're better than this. You're better than this. Please stop. Yeah, no, it wasn't even that. It was this.
Oh yeah, no, it was a whole
He
shimmy.
did like a fucking squid move.
I did the move that he did once upon a time where I'm sure he was like,
Yeah, you did.
okay, fine, I'll do it. Fine. I'll do it this one time. And you guys just keep using this shot, okay? I'm just gonna do it once.
Yeah, I mean, they honestly could have left like the last 2 minutes where they had the nice little fucking, Amy Jo Johnson singing a song, and you see Jason David Frank all looking nice, and Tui Trong sitting there, smiling, and everybody's having a good day. And then they're like, in loving memory, they could have put that on YouTube, and I would have had the same amount of entertainment and happiness brought to me by both.
And I was telling Jennifer when that little part went on there, and I'm like, yeah, it's so weird to see them all together because one, you haven't seen them all together like that in years, at least since 2001, because that's when she passed. That's the last time they could have ever all truly been together. I'm like, I imagine if you're Walter and you're David, and you look at or Austin, Amy, they're still around, and you look at that footage, you're like, never could I have thought that there would be a project we wouldn't even be working on together, that we wouldn't even be talking, that
Right.
some of us wouldn't even be here anymore. I was like, well, that's tough.
Well, and it was kind of, maybe it was therapeutic, but also kind of weird hearing Walter talk about Trini. Because, like, the way we usually handle people dying is not showing them get killed. Usually it's like, oh, like, it's like oh, I sure do miss mom. And then like, oh, yeah, well, I can't believe she passed when she did. We all miss her. But not like showing a whole ass scene of her getting murdered trying to save David Yost.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we were reminding people that she passed. I don't know if everybody remembers, but it's weird. Yeah, to intersect it with a real life person who passed away, it is odd.
From like super tragic circumstances.
And then like
And then Walter
there was,
talked about like fucking, we really miss your mom, and we're she was a great person and a great friend, and I'm like, I don't know, like this is 10 years later or 20 years later, and you're now having to talk about it again.
yeah, I'm sure they talked about it plenty.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, from what I remember, David took it the hardest because they were the closest, those two. So, and even in the thing, it showed like old footage of like just them two, like specific scenes with just them two together,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting.
Uh
I think that was his friend that he lost when he was young, and
this is a
I think
tribute.
maybe that was his tribute to her. Because I don't, when Jason David Frank passed, like there was a whole thing. I feel like,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like she got that.
I don't think she was as big of an impact in the fan base or
Yeah,
fandom just because she wasn't around as long.
right.
Like
Fair.
when she was out, yes, Power Rangers was cool, was cool to us as kids, but like it wasn't the phenomenon that it ended up becoming.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I
I
mean,
agree. I think
she just went out right before it became a movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was pretty big. I don't know. I guess
Not
I don't
big
remember
enough.
ever. Yeah, I don't ever remember hearing anything.
Yeah.
I can't even remember how I found out that she passed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. Jason David Franks was so recent, so obviously I remember. And technology is a lot more different than it was in 2001. But
It sure does shove it in your face all the time now.
yeah, they still post on his Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's that. If you're gonna go in and watch this, guys, that's what you have to accept it as. It is a tribute to a friend that they lost, and Stephen Cardenas and Catherine Sutherland decided to join along.
I mean, barely, right?
Apparently.
Halfway in. This is really just Walter and David having a good time,
Yeah.
suiting back up.
But
Was there ever a point where they were in the suit without the helmets?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I could, why don't you see the body difference? That's when you see a 60-year-old man in a fucking Power Ranger suit. You don't forget it.
It
Um,
the whole thing was pretty rough though, if I'm being honest. Like just from a critical standpoint,
I think Walter did well.
he did fine.
I think, I mean, if you're gonna
For what
say
it
the
all
best
was.
actor in this, it was definitely him.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Maybe
Um,
Trinity's daughter was pretty solid,
uh,
but
Charlie.
she also made
That's her
some.
real name.
She also made some lines
Oh,
that
there
were
was
rough.
there were some lines that didn't hit well.
Yeah,
But yeah, she definitely also was trying.
yeah. Everybody else phoned it in 100%.
I
Although
heard
Rita's voice solid still.
I heard David say affirmative once. And I was like,
Said
oh,
what?
affirmative.
Oh, he said it a couple times, and I
Did he?
hated it.
I pushed it out of my brain then. I only heard it one time.
He said it like 6 or 7 times, 5 or 6 times easily. Every time he said it was like nails on a chalkboard.
I like that we added uh Karen Ashley and then Johnny Young Bosch,
Mm-hmm.
who was like a phone call and then they were there in person and they didn't get to interact with it. There was a lot more Power Ranger lore than I thought there was because I always, when I was younger, I thought it was like one went and then they were tired and then some more went and they were tired. And now it's like we're all doing it at the same time
Right, like a Green
type of
Lantern
rule.
Corps kind of situation.
Yeah, which is fine. But then it's like maybe because it's Mighty Morphin, we didn't call in more people.
But they got captured. Because at first I was like, oh, okay, like it's just between Rita and the originals, fine. I'm good with this. But then it like panned back to her fucking captured, all the ones she's captured, and then there's just fucking 30, 40
but
of them.
a bunch of different ones. Yeah, the ones from Next Mutation were
Yeah.
in there. Some of them. Yeah, I mean, and I guess it makes sense the actors that they included because they all were originally Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In fact, I think I saw where Walter was saying that him and Steve, it was the first project they've ever done together, even though they're both from the Mighty Morphin
Mm-hmm.
era. Because when Zach went out, Rocky came in.
Right.
So, I mean, good for them. That was cool, I guess. Um,
It was a
I
thing.
I want to say Catherine, whose real name was Catherine, and I just realized that. Um, wasn't she like a real cat who got turned into a person
Fuck, I don't
and
know.
then the Power Ranger?
That feels so on point for what would have happened. I Here's the thing, guys. It
I think
felt
the
like,
putties were amazing actors.
100%. When someone
I
said,
was
"Why do I
like,
feel like
I would be a putty right now.
they said, "Why do I feel like I'm fighting angry turkeys?" And I was like, "Yeah, 100%."
I can do it.
It felt like some college students were like, "Man, I really miss the good old days," and then they tried to put together a film.
But they were like, should we make it a little darker since the core audience is probably going to be older people? And they're like, no, man, fucking, they're watching it because they loved Power Rangers back then. I'm like, yeah, but also my taste changed. I also eat vegetables now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, because that was kind of my point early on, was like, it feels like the whole, when I was saying like there's, Power Rangers now is for kids now, but like, why use characters from our childhood unless you're, because these characters don't exist. Well, they do, but like they're not like active in current Power Rangers.
well, I mean, why not?
Maybe.
Because Tommy Oliver has been a lot of different Power
Tommy
Rangers.
Oliver might be, but the rest of them aren't. They don't
I
know who fucking David Yost was. They don't
hold on.
know who Walter is.
David Yost was the last Power Ranger, and
And something, because they made a reference to it, which I'm going to talk about too, because I'm curious
Dino
about that
Fury,
reference.
and
Someone with a name starting with a C, Celesta.
that's a real question. There's Power Ranger Rise of the Ninja, but I don't know. It's a mini series. I don't think this is connected to the canon universe, you know?
But my point is, the kids of today don't know the fucking Triceratops and the fucking woolly mammoth. That's not their Power Rangers. So it's weird to use those Power Rangers and then still cater to those children.
Yeah.
I assumed this was going to be a ball of nostalgia that they really wanted us to be on board with. And if that's the
Mm.
case, that's fine, but then treat it like that.
Yeah. The only other he was in Power Rangers Zeo. That was in 1996, where he had like 50 episodes. I wonder if Walter was in anything different. But yeah, no, I agree. Because, that the reason I say Tommy Oliver is because that guy, like, I assumed they all did that, but that guy like kept popping up, not only being different Rangers, but being the Green Ranger a million times. Also, I always think it's really weird that we go back to the Green Ranger since he was the White Ranger when I remember leaving him last.
That was when he was when he was a good guy. The Green Ranger's when he
Walter
was originally a bad guy, and then he.
Walter was in Wild Force. He was in one episode in 2002. So yeah, it's those people who would remember him are also grown. I guess what's recent Power Ranger series? Cosmic Fury. The first episode debuted this year. So yeah. I mean, I guess if I'm 7 watching that, there's no way I can remember David. Yeah, I thought that they were going to give us an update. Like, I mean, if we're gonna kill a ranger, like, I mean, let's get gritty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No one once cried in the rain.
What's the fucking? What was the White Dragon Lord, whatever series that they were working on with Jason David Frank that was supposed to be way more.
Well, yeah, that's in a different universe where I mean, I think he killed all the other Rangers. But yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, let's turn it up if we're gonna turn it up. Not Rita's evil spirit is a robot now.
Okay, the last thing I wanted to address in my complaints, I suppose. David Yost.
Bad lines in here.
So many bad lines. It's. I'm gonna tell you now, guys. Watch it because so you can commiserate with us. It's fucking terrible. The whole 55 minutes of it is awful. There's not a moment where I'm like, this is good. The fucking Cobra Kai has better fucking acting than this did.
Yeah, why did his car fly? Just cause?
No idea. Why does car fly? Why? Anyway, it was not good, guys.
You know what? I will say it makes sense to me that like he grew up as like this
tech genius,
Peter Parker,
tech
mogul.
Yeah, he's Tony Stark. He has his own.
Well, he's not Tony Stark, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
He's the Tony Stark of Angel Grove.
Sad Angel Grove.
I have two things to say.
Okay, go ahead.
First thing, Bulk and Scully cameo, not enough. It was just a poster. I needed more than
Were they not interested?
Yeah,
I wonder.
Right? What the fuck are you guys doing?
Because they're still around, and I want to say that they're cool. I feel like I've seen pictures of them together.
Number 2,
anyway.
David Yost's biggest complaint about being the Blue Ranger when he was the Blue Ranger was that he was an openly gay actor who was bullied and like forced to not ever talk about that because it was the early 90s and that wasn't okay. I was pretty confident on the way that they randomly said this, but I went and researched it just to make sure.
Okay.
Her name was Sestria. I knew it was with a C. It is a reference to a Power Ranger from Zeo Force, or Power Ranger Zeo, which is out of my realm of Power Rangers.
It was the one where I said he came back on.
Yeah.
Where he had like 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That ends up in the end, he ends up sacrificing whatever he stays with her rather than going back to being young. And
that's a bad move.
Word. And like is in love with her.
Did he get to go back in time, or you don't?
It
know.
was. Hold on. I can tell you. Billy
Did you go back in time, or do you just get to be young?
Billy was last seen in 2 of the final Zeo episodes, suffering from an accelerating aging, a side effect from a regenerator he used to restore him to his proper age. To counter this, he traveled to Equitar for a cure from the Eternal Falls. Basically their fountain of youth, which would restore his real age. After that, he opted to remain there. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. He did get cured. He then stayed there with an equestrian named Sestria, who he had fallen in love with. And so my complaint to you is this. Billy felt bullied and often talked about wanting to commit suicide because he was forced to not ever talk about being gay. Why? In a movie that we're pretty confident he had to have a huge say in because he's there and like it feels like it's his project, whether his name is on the director or
he's
not.
got to have the most screen time, right?
Yeah.
Out of anybody.
It felt like it was his movie.
28 minutes.
Why would you... It was such an empty gesture that was unneeded to be like, hey, your love interest, she misses you. I don't know, like, it was just it was so weird to be like, oh yeah, don't forget, let's cram down your throat, Billy's not gay, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, it just was, it was meaningless.
It definitely could have been.
They didn't have to say anything.
He could have had a fucking flag on his phone, like.
Well, like, right.
Well, it's your chance to own it, right? It's your chance to be like,
100%.
You silenced me all these years. This is what's up.
100%. And then, and here's my thing, like, even if you wanted to be like, oh, we wanted to tie him into Zeo so that, like, people that also watch Zeo could feel connected to this, then you just make the comment that they made originally, which was, are you sure you don't want to come back to Equitar with us? I'm sure they'd love to see you. And then it would be like, no, I'm good. And then she goes, but Sestria misses you. Fuck, like, it was just, like I said, empty. And yeah, exactly like you said, this is your one chance.
Give him a love interest.
Here's your chance to be like, yeah. And it's not like we were upset about gay people, because the one other person that we actually talked to or heard a line from in anything else other than the actual Rangers was the one guy that when Men is driving her car, the guy yells, "They're after my boyfriend," which is just a weird.
Which felt like also really okay. Yeah, I know gay people exist. Is that what you're showing me?
Well, it was just it was just a weird scene altogether. She was trying to show that she could kill or she could defend and help people. And her way of doing that was running them over with a car and almost hitting the guy too.
Yeah, he saved himself at that point.
I don't know. Like I said, it was just a weird fucking empty gesture, and it didn't need to be there, and it just felt like, if anything, it just solidified more the things that he complained about. Especially in an era now where our current Billy, based on the movie adaptation, has autism. Like, has some, like, something that is unique to him and shows some kind of representation.
Yeah, that Billy is definitely a better Billy, for sure. Billy. I will say, too, I feel like if we can't get the band back together, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Tommy Oliver's an exception. Jason, what's his face? I don't remember his last name and this character's last name is an exception because, fucking crazy man or whatever has this little fraud thing going on. But like, I don't know. Like, those two were the Pink and Red Ranger. I'm not mad about it, but I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was expecting. I didn't know what I wanted.
No,
but
it didn't touch anything that I did want.
What I wanted.
Again, I think it could have been one of two things. It could have been a really well done, fun, like, new aged way to try to bring them in. Like, to be like, hey, these are old Power Rangers, and they could have been tutors. They could have been any, like, if you wanted to involve them.
Tommy Oliver comes back as, like, the Power Ranger professor.
There. I would have loved that.
In one of the series.
I would have fucking loved that. Had it been Billy's got a basement where Zordon lives and shit, or used to live, and Alpha 9's there, and he teaches other people how to be Rangers, and we want to bring Men in because, she's Trini's daughter, and we want to show, and, like, that was the tribute, like, your spirit will always be here and live with us. That's great. Awesome. Fucking love it. That would have been a great one. Had it been an old nostalgia ball of just, like, kind of fun, like, things to be like, hey, remember this and how you felt as a kid, that also would have been fine. It was none of those. It was an empty gestureless. Like I said, the last 3 minutes, the best part of the whole thing. And it's just a fucking tribute video to those two.
Did you realize that Catherine's character was married to Tommy Oliver?
Not until they made a point of saying that.
I feel like they never really made she was like, "Oh, look at you, sweet." Like,
and then our
son.
Yeah, she had said, "Well, I didn't even." He's like, Billy said something along the lines of like, "Oh, I didn't even think about JJ," and she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk to him about his father yet." I just immediately was like, okay, out of those three, it's gonna be fucking Tommy, right? Like, it had to be.
I thought maybe it would have been.
That's fair.
The Red Ranger.
That's fair, but I was just
but I forget that when he left, so red, yellow, and black left, and then the other three came in, and then slowly after, pink and blue left, and we replaced pink, and or maybe blue was spouse. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But I'm pretty sure she was a cat at one point. He married a cat. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Stay tuned.
But yes, then when she sees him as a tiny action figure, says, "Oh, Tommy, what have they done to you?" Then I was like, "Oh, okay, so it is for sure Tommy is the one that she's with." Rita was great. The monsters were great. Like that was I think that was my plus in this whole thing. I actually liked Robot Rita. I thought it was funny.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I wasn't mad at Robot Rita. When Robot Rita got stabbed through the chest, though, that was kind of funny too.
She's distracted.
Yeah, all you hear is Billy say she's distracted, and then you see his fucking trident just coming through her.
Catherine started serving Rita Repulsa for her evil bidding, who is transformed into a cat. Aisha Ghibli named her PC when they thought she was a stray cat.
I swear to God, it's got to be Power Cat.
But later on, she has become a cat. She is become, this is how it's written, a cat monster. But the form was destroyed by Ninjor and Ninja Mega Falcon Zord. Catherine is turned back between her cat form and human form. Although she was in her human form, Catherine is quite stole the Kimberly's power coin and then sneaks into the Falcon Zord and stole. This is bad. Anyway, she was a cat one time.
That's why her and Tommy are together. They both worked for Rita at one point.
They both understand.
Yeah, they get it. I was wrong. I'm so sad. It stands for Park Cat. I like it less. Power Cat was obviously the correct.
But also, they didn't know the cat had powers, right?
No, I meant more like Power, like Power Ranger, Power Cat. Like it's
that does make more sense. Why? Yeah, of course. We better writers in the Power Rangers. Why don't we just start a show?
Because we'll
grab footage from Japan like they do.
They're all out of it. They're all out. That's the problem. They're running out of footage.
That's right.
Like they're literally the current Power Rangers might be the last one because they've run out of fucking footage now.
By all means, I can make one suggestion. If anybody could just go watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers before this, that would be great. Because I think it's got like 3 episodes and it's so much better than this.
It is. It is actually better. If you guys have already seen this, let us know what you guys think down below. I don't fucking know. There's a lot of Power Ranger fans out there.
I don't want to be so harsh on it, but man, it's not good.
I went into it wanting to like it. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be honest. Cleve wanted me to watch this movie. He gave me 24-hour notice. I tried to watch it 3 times in the last 24 hours. 2 of those times I was unsuccessful because within 10 minutes I fell asleep because it was so terrible. I finally had to literally sit myself in this chair and just like stare at it. It's
so funny because I knew like it wasn't going to be the best, right?
For sure.
But like I
wasn't expecting like the new reboot. Like I didn't expect that. I'm not mad at the horrible fucking CGI fight on the moon. Not mad at it. You know why? Because it makes sense. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
I like the technology to send the fucking swords there. Zippity flippity.
That actually looked good. I loved that. Like that scene looked decent. Like that was smooth. I think this is my favorite fucking line actually, and I'm so glad you said something because it triggered this line. They leave for Rita Repulsa's place, right? He's like he's like Alpha, send us there, and Alpha's like all right, and sends him. And while Trini's daughter Min is like planning to sneak out to go hit the gay couple with her car.
Took away the hate crime, yeah.
Alpha 9 is in there working on a computer, and what he says is, well, I guess I gotta warm up the volcano. And it's because the fucking pterodactyl comes out of the volcano.
And you felt like...
And I just think that Alpha...
That was what you got out of it?
Alpha 9 being like, let me just warm up the old volcano real quick, was just gold. It was solid gold.
mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I can't think of a line better. So you're right.
I just like to think that, here's fucking Angel Grove, and there's a fucking volcano nearby, and
Just
Alpha
in the
9's like, let
distance.
me activate this bitch. Guys, yeah, let us know if you've seen this. It's right down below. There are bigger Power Ranger fans out there than us. We know there are, but
Just let us know if like you enjoyed it.
yeah,
Oh,
if you
what you
enjoyed it, we
enjoyed?
don't blame you. That hopefully you can show us the light. I don't know. Tell us why we're wrong, please. Please tell us why we're wrong. I want to be wrong.
Maybe you should give it another watch.
You guys can find us on all of our social medias under Friendship Supreme.
Read it like Billy.
Except-
Read it like Billy.
Except for affirmative. Except for except for on Twitter.
Except for Twitter. Twitter has no eyes, no word friendship. All eyes go to the YouTube channel.
Affirmative. Yeah, you just give them a
Dead
real
eyes.
strong affirmative. Oh yeah, you guys can find us under Friendship Supreme everywhere. Just fuck it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. We literally come out with episodes every week, multiple episodes. We stream live on Twitch. We're everywhere. If you're saying to yourself right now, I've not had anything to keep me entertained for the last 24 hours, you're fucking wrong. We've got something for you guys.
Last 3 years.
I just meant 24 hours. Like, we literally every day we're doing something, guys. There's something coming out from us. There's something somewhere that you're missing if you're not hearing our voice every day. If you want to hear more of our voice, let us know down below what you want to hear us talk about. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve.
It's morphin' time.
I have heavy robot feet. Or the fuck? They're so bad. You know what? Let's go to their IMDb.
I'm chiming back in for a second. I hate, and we've talked about this before in a different Power Ranger episode. May the power protect you.
Oh God, yes.
And you. Get fucked. Get fucked.
Time for hip hop keto. Are you breakdance fighting? Hey, you putties want to fight? You found one. All these years, and they still sound like angry turkeys.